What's up, everybody? Thanks again for joining Tankers Fantasy Football, where today we're going to do things a little differently. We're going to start talking about some weekly leagues here because they're getting so popular. We'll hit you on some DraftKings.
Switching gears here, daily fantasy sports is blowing up. They're spending millions and millions on advertisements. And, they're giving away $100,000 for free this weekend. And all to try to get you hooked. And let me tell you, it's probably going to work. Because daily fantasy sports is very addictive. I'm basically in love with it. I mean, I don't like doing these millionaire makers. I'm not really in on that. I feel like that's throwing your $20 away. I feel like if you really want a good chance at winning like the head-to-head, or if you want to, just like doubling your money, I like to do that like 11-team leagues where like the first two teams get paid out. I really love those leagues. I win those 11-team leagues quite a bit. I really do enjoy myself out there. And we're going to give you a few lineups. We'll give you a few lineups or a couple lineups right now to help you maybe win some money out there as well.
All right. First lineup, obviously some of the hottest news. Charles, he's not starting, more than likely not even going to play. So Spencer Ware.
Spencer Ware is the play until further notice. Like, he really is. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs love to run the football. It didn't matter who was in there last year. Charkandrick West, Spencer Ware, Jamal Charles, they were all producing top 5 numbers.
Even when Charles went down, they started winning games. I mean, this run game just did not fall off at all. They just kept the train rolling.
I mean, they're talking about Spencer Ware getting the lion's share, like 70-75% of these carries. I mean, especially against a team like the Chargers week 1, who has a very I think they're like bottom 5 run defense. I mean, this is your boy. Like, especially for what's he going for? 4,400? 4,400 in DraftKings. I mean, that's so savory out there. I mean, who's guaranteed to outscore Spencer Ware week 1? Who are we talking about here? We're talking about like maybe the top 3 guys and Gurley, David Johnson.
Besides your absolute studs, I mean, there's no way he couldn't slide into a weekly top 5 performance.
I mean, probably Lamar Miller is going to outscore him. But other than that, like, even like guys like Adrian Peterson, you telling me Spencer Ware on a lion's share of these carries for the Kansas City Chiefs can't outscore Adrian Peterson run by Sean Hill week 1? I mean, there are going to be 9-10 guys in the box in AP all day long. There is. I mean, I know Alex Smith isn't anything special, but they got to at least respect the Macklin and the bum Kelsey, who I absolutely hate.
All right, you'll see I've got a pretty familiar theme here. I'm getting 3 guys here, maybe even 4, that I feel like are 1-week prices. These are guys that week 1 you can get them rock bottom. And you can absolutely splurge on some other pieces here.
I mean, to start my lineups, I always usually like to look for that cheapest quarterback that I feel anything about that could make anything happen for me. And this week, I'm feeling like it's Dak Prescott. I mean, the guy only costs $5,000, and that's as cheap as any quarterback. That's as cheap as quarterbacks go in DraftKings.
And he's the same price as backups.
You can't even find his name on the list. I had to literally type in Dak so I could put him in my lineup. Like, he was below guys I don't even know the names of. It's like, you can't even find him out there unless you search his name. $5,000, I know it's Dak Prescott, but he's playing against, the 31st ranked pass defense in the league last year in the New York Giants, and it's in Dallas.
Playing at home.
I mean, it's in Dallas. That's good.
I mean, he's the same price as Carson Wentz out there, who I have much more faith in even Dak Prescott than Carson Wentz. I mean, he's cheaper than Trevor Siemian.
I mean, cheaper than Trevor Siemian, cheaper than Blaine Gabbert. I know Blaine Gabbert has more NFL experience, but let's be real. I mean, Dak Prescott has way better weapons down in Dallas. He's playing at home against the lackluster pass defense. I mean, I feel like he's not going to be your sexy boy. I mean, he's not going to go out there and drop 25 or 30 quarterback fantasy points. But, I mean, I think you can get him in there for 15. I think 15 is almost guaranteed.
I think he can be a very solid play. And like I said, for $5,000, you can really splurge on some other guys. One of the last value guys I'm going to talk about before I get into the heart of this lineup.
The heart, it's coming, the heart and soul.
Is another guy who came on hot this week, and that's Christine Michael. They just announced that he's actually going to be getting the start. he's ahead of the depth chart than Thomas Rawls this week.
I mean, if Thomas Rawls, they're still talking about he might see, he might touch some footballs out there. And that's limiting his action a little more than Spencer Ware because they're saying Jamal Charles probably isn't even going to be playing football week 1. So that's totally rocket shipping Spencer Ware. But for Christine Michael at 3,700 playing for a good football team in the Seattle Seahawks, I mean, and if he's getting 60% of the carries, that's good enough.
And if he gets in the end zone once, I feel like that's enough for you. If these...
we're these three dudes we've given you to start this lineup.
That's 13,000 combined for 3 guys. One of them's a quarterback.
We got 13-1. $13,100. And one of them's a quarterback who they forced us to spend at least $5,000 on.
That's the bare minimum.
So we're about to die. We got Dak Prescott, who I don't feel really great about. For $5,000, you're really going to be able to elevate these positions at the wide receiver. We're about to show you that. I mean, look at these guys we're running out there for our 3 wide receivers.
Right. 3 receivers. I got Julio Jones, AJ Green, and Mike Evans.
Julio Jones, AJ Green, and Mike Evans. I mean, those guys are all going. 2 of them are going first round. The other one's going maybe into the first, very beginning of the second. I mean, these are boss hog wide receivers. I mean, our tight ends, what? Delaney Walker? My goodness. Delaney Walker is a steal this week, people. Seriously, $4,500 for Delaney Walker. Travis Kelce cost $5,000. Colby Fleener cost $4,900. Now, I know I'm on Fleener, but he's unproven. We're talking about a Delaney Walker, who guy almost caught 30, almost had 30%.
And he almost had 100 catches last year.
He almost had 30% of his team's targets last year. We're talking about a guy for $4,500. I mean, Travis Kelce, you know how I feel about this bum. I mean, if you came in, even if you love this bum, even if you and if you fell in love with him, you watched our AFC West podcast. You watched that podcast, and when I did that Kelce segment, I mean, I talked you into leaving Travis Kelce at the altar. I mean, I showed you this bum's true colors. I mean, you left this bum at the altar. I mean, for $500 less, you can get the boy Delaney Walker. What do you have, 9 games with at least 6 receptions last year? I mean, my goodness.
Mariota loves him. He's really the only receiving threat in that entire offense.
It's ridiculous. I mean, who's their number 1 receiver? I mean, Rashard Matthews? Come on, Titans. Do you know what that means? My boy Delaney Walker will be target hogging, maybe even more than last year. Maybe even more.
And for my flex, I feel like he's another guy who's only a 1-week price. And I love him going against the Indianapolis D, the secondary. And it's Marvin Jones.
I mean, $4,600 for Marvin Jones that's a 1-week price. I mean, if he does anything week 1, and I'm talking about 5 for 70. I mean, his price is going up even if he's at 4 for 60. I mean, $4,600 is pretty rock bottom for a guy. I mean, he's playing against the Colts, and I know they're not the worst secondary in the league, but I mean, they're not very good either. Where's that game? Is it in Detroit? I think the game's even in Detroit, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I'm looking to see who's kind of going around him for that price. Robert Woods is the same price as Marvin Jones.
Robert Woods oh my God. I mean, we're looking at guys who cost more. I mean, speaking of guys that cost $4,600, if you're not showing up for Marvin Jones for $4,600, I mean, there's 2 other guys that I feel very good about for $4,600. We're talking about Jeremy Hill and Melvin Gordon, who's looked very sexy in the preseason. And I mean, Jesus, look at this. Jerick McKinnon and Forsett also cost $4,600. The guys that cost more than $4,600, oh my God. James Starks at $48. Torrey Smith and Old Man River Steve Smith at 49? I mean, Sanu at 51?
That's crazy.
Come on. And this is Sanu's not even the most crazy. I know I love the Chicago Bears. We're talking about Kevin White for 52? I mean, my goodness. Kevin White cost $600 more than Marvin Jones? That is ridiculous. Absolutely preposterous. I mean, Arian Foster costs $58. I know what you're saying, Arian Foster, but I mean, $1,200 more than a guy like Jeremy Hill, Marvin Jones, or Melvin Gordon. Get out of here. Belligerent.
And then to round out, I got Titans D, which I really like. They're going up against that Sean Hill-led offense, and I feel like for such a cheap play, I like that matchup there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Sean Hill, it's in Tennessee. I mean, if they're all forced to pass the ball, watch out for that Titans D. Seriously, the Titans somehow jump up on them like 14-0. Watch out, because if they force old man Sean Hill to throw the ball, Titans D could very well eat him alive out there. They could harvest his soul.
So if you're following at home, I got Dak Prescott at quarterback. And then again, I got some budget plays. I got Spencer Ware and Christine Michael as my back.
Love it.
But Julio, A.J. Green, Mike Evans, Marvin Jones, Delaney Walker.
I mean, those 3 wide receivers and Delaney Walker are going to eat people alive. I mean, if Spencer Ware and Christine Michael go out there, and I think these guys, if they're going to get the carries they said they are, I don't think there's any way that both these guys can't be week 1 top 10 backs. I mean, I don't think there's any way they can be.
I think they're worse.
Especially Spencer Ware. I mean, Spencer Ware could be a top 5 week 1 back. I mean, that's reality.
I feel like with their systems that they're in, their floors are still high level RB2. And I feel like they can easily creep up into there to the first running back tier there.
Oh yeah, they could easily be both week 1 RB or top 10 running backs. I'm certain almost. Like, I'd put money on that. If they're getting, like, if Christy Michael's getting 60% and Ware's getting like 70%, I think Spencer Ware's absolute shoo-in. The only guy I'm a little bit on the fence about is Michael. I think Spencer Ware's absolute shoo-in for top 10, and he's at 4,400 people. 4,400. Ridiculous.
Talking about some guys at 37, we're going to kind of go into your lineup that
All right, we got, I'm sticking with Dak. We're going to stick with Dak. We already talked about him, but I really like to go cheap quarterbacks. I mean, if you're not looking to go Dak, and I feel you on that, I do feel you. If you're not looking to go Dak, you got to spend two more grand. You got to get my boy Uncle Phil, and I'm serious, because Uncle Phil is like if you want a reliable guy, he's the cheapest by far. I mean, look at who costs more than Uncle Phil. I mean, Matt Ryan, David Carr, Kirk Cousins, and Matt Stafford, and Uncle Phil only cost $100 more than Tyrod Taylor?
He's going about the 14th, I believe, if I counted right quick. It's the 14th ranked quarterback.
14th ranked quarterback. That's ridiculous. I mean, I think you can say Uncle Phil's going to be top 5, 6, or 7 easy. I mean, he's going. If you're looking for a value play at quarterback that isn't Dak Prescott because you're scared, I'm all in on Uncle Phil at $7 grand. I really am. I mean, you're going to have to temper down those sexy boy wide receivers that we just had in that other lineup. But if you want reliability, I think Uncle Phil all day for that $7 grand. All right, back to the other lineup. I don't know. We went a little more sturdy.
Budget. We went budget friendly on mine with the backs, and
we're going a little more sturdy.
Mixed it up here.
We're going to give you a Lamar Miller and a LaShawn McCoy for your running backs. And I feel really good about both these guys. I know, Bears, I know you're playing Lamar Miller, but I'm sorry, Bears. I'm sorry, Bears. I fear for you out there. I think Lamar Miller and DeAndre Hopkins might just eat you alive out there, Bears. So I'm going to go Lamar Miller and LaShawn McCoy. I mean, LaShawn McCoy is going to be getting these carries. If anybody's going to go out there and get 80-90% of his team's carries, it's going to be my boy LaShawn McCoy.
And it's not like Baltimore's got a studly defense out there either.
No, not sexy at all. And these receivers we got, I mean, Lamar Miller and McCoy are very solid, if not tasty. I mean, these receivers we're pulling in are no slouch whatsoever. We're talking about Amari Cooper playing against the Saints in the Dome. We're talking about Demaryius Thomas.
He has one of the best floors of any guy you can throw out there.
I mean, Demaryius Thomas for $7 grand, people. I mean, that's pretty value. I mean, Cooper for $7,200 too. I mean, that's also pretty value for how great they are. And then we're going to start up for a big boy, our boy, Allen Robinson. So we're talking about Cooper. We're talking about Demaryius Thomas. We're talking about Allen Robinson in your wide receiver spots. And with guys like LaShawn McCoy and Lamar Miller in your running back spots. Now, you're going to have to sacrifice tight end a little bit, but I got just the boy for that. My boy, Vance McDonald. And I don't think there's any way he doesn't lead.
I think he can be the sleeper of the year at the tight end spot. I really do.
I don't think there's any way Vance McDonald doesn't lead the 49ers in receptions, yards, and touchdowns this year, receiving touchdowns. I don't think there's any way. I mean,
they just traded for some random. Who are they? Like a
Jeremy Curley, an ex-Jet,
kick returner,
an ex-Jet bum, in Jeremy Curley, and all of a sudden this guy off the street,
he's their starter.
This guy from Jet wide receiver, ex-Jet Bumitude, is now your number one. I mean, I know they lost Bruce Ellington, but my goodness, Torrey Smith, you are that bad. You are that bad. They don't even respect you enough to say, we're just gonna write your name above this guy we just got. They don't even respect him enough to do that. So I'm saying my boy Vance McDonald is looking to be, I mean, I know the Niners are the Niners, but if anybody's gonna catch 5 balls for 70 yards and a touchdown on this Jamook team, I'm going Vance McDonald.
Gabbert has shown that he's fallen in love with this
He
guy.
loves it. Vance McDonald had a 40-yard touchdown at week 1 of the preseason out there, and I mean, Blaine Gabbert, and was it week 2, completed 6 balls? 3 of them to my boy Vance McDonald? I mean, come on.
This guy barely cracks the top 20 price tight ends.
I mean, I'm all in on it.
It wouldn't surprise me if he returns you first tier tight end if he sneaks in the top 12 this week.
All you need, old boy Vance McDonald, is to find the end zone.
If he finds the end zone, I think he's easily in that first tier.
He's going to be
12.
targeted. You know, I think you can write him down for 6 or 7 targets a game. I think you can do that. I mean, who else are they throwing it to out there? And I know, okay, we got my flex, and I got $3,700 left because I went Cleveland Browns at defense because I like the Browns, you know. They're playing against the Eagles. I know it's in Philadelphia, but we're talking about a rookie quarterback.
And they're the second cheapest price defense. And I think this could be the play of the week.
I really
defense.
do. Cleveland Browns, I mean, I know it's the Cleveland Browns, but we're talking about a rookie quarterback making his first start, and there's weapons around
with
him.
Not many playmakers at all. Just Jordan Matthews is your best playmaker, and really, who else?
I mean, these weapons around him are bad in Philadelphia. I mean, it's like he can rely on the run game. You give it to Ryan Matthews too much, his collarbone will fall off out there. I mean, you can't depend on the run game. He has nothing to lead on. I think it's bad news out there. I think the Cleveland Browns might eat him alive. I know that sounds crazy, but that might be the first time that anyone's ever said the Cleveland Browns are going to eat anyone alive. But it could happen this week, people.
I really think it's the play this week.
All right. So back to that. I got $3,700 left for my flex. Now I'm going to give you a name that isn't Christine Michael, since we gave you Christine Michael in that last lineup. I'm going to give you my boy LeGarrette Blount. And I know, I know, rolling blunts. I know, very black. But I know, I'm talking, I mean, you know they're going to try to rely on that run game with Garoppolo out there. And if they get inside the 5, they're going to give Blount every opportunity to finish it off because they don't want to put a red zone in Garoppolo's hands. You know they don't. I mean, they might be forced to, but they're going to give Roland Blount his chance first. You know it. I mean, they could. I mean, I
don't even trust James White yet completely for this backfield.
No, I think we might be seeing LeGarrette Blount out there for 60 to 70% of these snaps. I really do. I know that's crazy, but for $3,700, you might be getting. I mean, he might be touching the football more than anybody for $3,700.
I think he's got by far the most touchdown upside of any guy at 3,700.
Oh my goodness, 3,700 is nothing. Like that's rock bottom. Like you're talking about bummitudes. Like you're getting into like the Wendell Smallwoods of the world down there. Like my goodness, you're talking about what is Andre Ellington? Andre Ellington costs more than LeGarrette Blount. Are you kidding me?
The third running back on a team costs more than the number 1 running back on a team who's gonna be running the ball.
That's crazy. That's just complete blasphemy. All right, who we got else for these value plays? We gave you a couple lineups there. Now we're going to probably hit you with a couple more value plays and a couple of dudes I think are completely overpriced and gross that you don't even want to think about touching. And we'll go completely overpriced and gross first. We're looking at guys like Jordan Matthews for $6,700. I mean, my God. I mean, there's way better ways to spend your money than that, than a rookie quarterback throwing to a bum like Jordan Matthews.
I mean, even Eric Decker at $6,600. Or Doug Baldwin at $6,600. Jeremy Maclin
at $6,500 and Jordan Matthews at $67. There is no reason to even think about putting this bum in your lineup. I mean, who else are you looking at? Randall Cobb for $76. I mean, I know it's Randall Cobb, but he has to show it to me first before I think about even spending close to that money on him.
I will take Mike Evans at $7,400
all day. Demaryius Thomas at $7 over him all day. Hell, I
love Golden Tate at 73.
Even Sammy Watkins at 69. I mean, I know he hasn't played this much preseason, but let's talk about Sammy Watkins. Oh, I mean, my goodness. Sammy Watkins only costs what?
Sammy Watkins is 69.
Sammy Watkins costs $700 less than Randall Cobb. And I mean, if they think anybody can go out there and showcase showdown for you, it's Sammy Watkins over Randall Cobb for $700 less.
What? Some other guys overpriced here. Let's see. How do you feel about Alshon Jeffrey at 7,900?
I mean, I think that's too much, Bears. I thought about it, but I was like, man, I just made adjustments and made so I could get Allen Robinson in there for 4 more hundred, you know? I mean, my goodness. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey, I'm afraid. I mean, I think the Texans, J.J. Watt's going to play. I don't know if Jay Cutler's going to have any time out there. The Bears' offensive line scares the living hell out of me. J.J. Watt's going to play football? That's bad for the Bears.
Should we get into some values here?
Let's hit him with the values. I was like, Kamar Aiken for $4,700. I mean, I know it's Kamar Aiken, but for that price, I mean, that's pretty good.
I just don't think there's going to be any guy who's going to get more targets in the Baltimore receiving core than him. I really don't. I can't see Steve Smith doing it. I mean, I don't even know if Steve Smith's going to be able to return to form whatsoever.
I mean, we got DeMarco Murray for 53 and Derrick Henry for 4. I mean, that's pretty good value. I mean, I know the Vikings D is pretty solid. They're pretty solid out there. But the Titans are going to try to just pound that rock down their throat. It's not like the Vikings are going to get a crazy lead with Sean Hill. So.
You know they're going to get their touches. They're not going to pull away.
Oh, it's
one guy that we haven't really talked about, but if you've been watching any of our podcasts, we fall in love with this guy, and that's Tyler Lockett. Now, have some things that I've seen. There have been some reports that maybe he is the third receiver now in Seattle. I don't know how much to believe
but what are you doing, Pete Carroll? I can't even believe this news. What is going on? Is it smoke and mirrors? I hope so.
But even with that said, I feel like this year they're going to have a lot more 3 receiver sets. And Tyler Lockett's not necessarily your possession receiver anyway. He's going to be the guy that's going to take the top off. So even with that said, at 5,000,
he's going for 5,000 flat.
I think if he catches a touchdown or even just one deep ball in there, I feel like that's another 1 week price on this guy.
Oh, if he does anything, that's raising up instantly. Like I don't know why they even mess around. I mean, come on, come on, man. I mean, seriously, I think worst case scenario, we at least need to put Lockett on the field and see what he's got, because I think we know what Curse has got.
All right. Let's see. Well, let's think of some value.
Travis Benjamin.
Benjamin is.
I mean, it's not a running back.
Only 41.
But 4,100 on a dude. I mean, he's second wide receiver for the Chargers. And Uncle Phil hug it, chuck it football. I mean, Travis Benjamin, he could bust the top off that defense. Next thing you know, we're talking about 5 receptions for 130 yards and a touchdown. Travis Benjamin week 1. And that price ain't going to be 4,100 again. This might be a one-time opportunity to get Travis Benjamin. I mean, I know it's Travis Benjamin, but he did very well for a busted down Cleveland Brown football team last year. Busted down.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's only 4,000. We were kind of talking about the Titan backfield. But I really feel like LeGarrette Blount at 3,700. That might be the best 3,700 you can spend.
Oh, him and Christine Michael for 3,700 is ridiculous. I mean,
I've even got more faith, I feel like, in Blount than I do Michael.
To touch the foot, I mean, for amount of touches, I think you can go with that. I mean, you know, they're playing the Cardinals, and they're a pretty tough D, and that's the only reason why I would temper that expectation on Blount. I mean, if he was playing a soft D, I'd be all in on LeGarrette Blount, talking about 2 touchdowns with LeGarrette Blount. I mean, the Cardinals are pretty stiff, and they do have Garoppolo, so it's not like the Cardinals are going to have to respect the pass that much.
Yeah, because Christine Michael is going against a very, very bad Miami Dolphins front 7.
Yes.
Very bad.
I mean, who'd they bring in there? And they bring in Mario Williams, and they got old Sue, though. I mean, they can't be that bad. It's not that bad, I guess. And Mario Williams was kind of a bum for the Bills last year. And he was talking about how, the Bills, they wanted me to think and do too much. It's like, well, dude, I mean, just like go out there and charge up field. Seriously, like that's the game plan? Like, I don't know. This is the NFL, bro. You probably should, like, play your position.
I feel like even Chris Ivory at 4,300. I feel like that's dirt cheap for a guy who, if they're on the goal line, I feel like he's the only guy in that backfield who's going to get the goal line touches.
I mean, this is crazy.
I mean, he's going $100. No, he's going the same price as Rob Kelly.
Same price as Rob Kelly. I mean, come on.
Do you guys even know who Rob Kelly is? Because I barely even know.
Rob Kelly, Washington Redskins. I know Matt Jones might fall apart and he could be the guy, but are we really talking about that happening week 1? I mean that's something we might talk about down the road, but for week 1, you can't run out a bum like that.
Rob Kelly's like the third back in that back.
Nah, he's won the second job. He stepped his game up.
Over Thompson?
He took well, Tompkins more.
He's more that PPR guy.
Yeah, he's more of a pass catching back. He leaped Marshall. He leaped Keith Marshall the other day, which is not a task, but he did. I don't know. Any more values there?
I'm looking through here.
Another
overpriced guy, Duke Johnson. This guy's $200. He's about $200 less than DeMarco Murray. I feel like DeMarco Murray is easily going to get your money back besides the Duke Johnson. I think McCoy, though, is a good value play, though, for $6,400. I don't even know if he's in the top 10 here.
Oh, yeah, I got him in that lineup with Lamar Miller.
He is. He's the 10th highest. He's the 10th highest running back play out there. So you're not even going to have to break the bank on this guy to get him.
I got him in there with Lamar Miller, and you saw those wide receivers I still had with Lamar Miller and LaShawn McCoy in my backfield. I still had some sexy boy wide receivers. I still had Cooper, D-Train, and A-Rob. I mean, my goodness. That's pretty damn sexy.
All right, overall, what do you think are some good pointers here for these weeklies? I know we touched about kind of going cheap on quarterbacks if you can.
I mean, you say you got like $100 or $200 left, and you're like, don't feel the need to be forced to spend that money. I mean, if you look around and the guys are like $100 or $200 more than the guys you have in your lineup, and you don't really feel you're as good about them. I mean, don't feel like you have to spend that money. You don't have to spend every dime you have out there. If you feel better about the lineup and you still have $200 in your bank, run it out there. I mean, who cares? I mean, maybe that's kind of a better strategy anyway. I mean, everybody's out there trying to spend all their money. I mean, if you got $100, $200 left and you're looking around and you're like, well, I forced my hand, but I got to start a guy like less than the guy I have in there. I don't even consider it. Don't even consider it.
All right. Well, once again, thanks a lot for watching. We're going to try and get you, We'll definitely get you every week out here some DraftKings guys that we like. And
next week, we'll probably do a DraftKings. Maybe I'll probably do a week. Start doing weekly ranks for running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks, that kind of thing. This week we didn't really want to do that because, I mean, you drafted your team. You just drafted your team. I mean, week 1 is week 1. You're gonna start who you drafted. That's what you do. But as soon smoke clears on week 1, then you get to really sit down and look at these guys and think about who they really are. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's not so good.
All right.
Sometimes it's a mirage.
Make sure to subscribe. We're on the Twitter.
We're on that Twitter.
Tankers Fantasy. You can email us, tankersfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Like, comment, share, do whatever. We love you. We'll read everything you guys post.
We will respond. Subscribe to the Tankers. We do enjoy the company.
All right, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.